What is going on, guys? Tanner here with Morcic. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of RuneScape Storytime. So we've got two characters submitted here. We're going to call them Dale and Tucker. And if you guys have ever watched the movie Dale and Tucker vs. Evil, this is where I got the names. We're just going to use Dale and Tucker, okay? They are juniors in high school. So we're going to be calling Dale and Tucker juniors in high school. Okay, so Dale and Tucker are very different personalities. Dale is a goody-goody, does all of his chores, does all of his homework, focuses in school, hangs out with the right people. Not really gonna label that as a goody-goody. I think that's a great way to live, by the way. But his buddy Tucker is someone that he's grown up with, so they've been friends for a very, very long time. Up pretty much from kindergarten, first grade to high school. So, okay, so, you know, Dale and Tucker, like I said, very, very different personalities. Tucker is more of the kind of smarts off, gets in trouble, more, I guess you could say, extroverted as far as going to these, like, parties and stuff. You know, he's just not the best influence, but the two have been friends for so long that, you know, they're just friends, you know? And when they're together, it's not like they do bad things. Dale, they kind of equal each other out. They just have fun doing the things that they do. So, but Dale is, you know, about to become a senior, and he doesn't want to enter senior year as the guy who just has never really done anything. You know, he's like, I know some people. Me and Tucker have the same friends for the most part, but he just knows a lot more than I do. And I want to make sure that my senior year is historic, starting off with a bang, and I want to exit high school going into college as someone who really made a difference, you know, in high school. So, you know, it's a Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, and it's one of the last weeks of school. And they're at lunchtime with some buddies. Dale kind of, you know, he mentions to Tucker, hey man, my parents are out of town this weekend. I kind of want to, you know, have some friends over. I kind of want to throw a party. Nothing too crazy, obviously. You know, I don't want to do anything to risk getting in trouble or, you know, like like I said, Dale is the good kid. Tucker's more of the outgoing. He gets in trouble at parties. He's a little crazy, okay? So Dale asks his best buddy Tucker, you know, for help organizing this party, but lets him know, dude, like when I say less than 10 people, I just want to have a little get together, have some friends over, and just have a good time and just kind of create a fun atmosphere for us and go into senior year with a bang, right? Enter the summer with a bang. Okay, you know, Tucker's like, all right, buddy. All right, Dale, I got you. This Friday night, I'll come over at like 7, and I've got some friends I already know. We can have them over, and I know one or two more, so we'll have less than 10 probably, okay? No problem. And let's not forget to mention that these two also play RuneScape, because otherwise this wouldn't be a RuneScape story, right? So this is another reason they bond so well. They hang out, they play RuneScape, they go bossing together. Like I said, Dale's more the introvert, Tucker's more of the extrovert, but they both have qualities of introverts, and they both enjoy electronics, they both enjoy computers and games. And you know what? They both play RuneScape. So they figured, you know, they'd invite some friends over that also play RuneScape and maybe bring their laptop, see if they can go to like Chambers of 𝗀漗or something. You know, like some of them haven't bossed before, or they, you know, maybe this is what Dale had in mind. But of course, Tucker is like, haha, this is going to be a party. Less than 10 people? Sure. We'll still have a crazy party though. You know, so up until Friday, Dale's expecting a small kind of get together. Let's relax. Bring your laptops over. We'll watch a movie. We'll do some raiding at Chambers of 𝗀漗or Theater of Blood, something like that. And we'll just have a chill time, right? And yeah, well, let's just say Friday afternoon rolls around, and at lunchtime, Tucker tells Dale, no worries, man. I already got, you know, a couple people invited. They're going to bring one of their friends, and And he's like, well, do they play games? And Tucker's like, nah, man. What do you mean they don't play, like, they don't play RuneScape, if that's what you're asking. Don't worry about it. Like, they're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time. Just don't worry about it. You're gonna make some friends, and you're gonna be great. Especially senior year, you're gonna be one of the most popular kids in school. Dale's like, all right, buddy, all right, I trust you. Well, Friday night rolls around. Dale's parents, you know, give him what, I don't know, $50, $75 for the weekend, and just be like, hey man, this is for pizza, or, you know, emergencies only, really. So Dale's not supposed to spend this money, and, you know, the parents leave, they go out of town, wherever, and Tucker, he knocks on the door around 5:30. Party's supposed to be at like 7-ish. Tucker enters the room, you know, he enters the house of Dale. The house of Dale. And Dale is like, what's up, man? You know, and Tucker tells him, all right, everyone should be here around 7. Hopefully that's okay. Dale's like, hey, yeah, where's your laptop though? Like, how are we gonna play some RuneScape? He goes, well, I can watch you play until everyone gets here, and then the party starts. And he's like, well, what do you mean? Like, I thought we were gonna do some like Chambers of 𝗀漗or something. He's like, nah, man, this is a party. I don't know what you're thinking. He goes, playing RuneScape with your friends isn't a party. This is a party. So Dale's starting to get really, really worried. It's like 6:30, and the first knock on the door comes around, and sure enough, it's one of Tucker's friends. Dale recognizes him from school, but he also recognizes him as one of the kids that gets in trouble a lot. And they order a pizza. Pizza guy comes in, delivers the pizzas, and everything's good. Everything's going well. It's pretty chill. There's probably 8 or 9 people here. And Dale's having a good time, but he really thought they're going to be playing some games. And but he starts to kind of let go a little bit. He kind of let loose. So Dale's letting loose. Tucker's like, okay, good job, Dale. You know, just have some fun. Talk to the guys. Talk to the girls that showed up. You know, just be a high schooler and just socialize. Create friends. And so they start playing like beanbag games and stuff like that. And whatever you call it, cornhole or bags, whatever you guys like to call it. So they're playing that, you know, someone set it up in the hallway and everyone's just having a good time. Well, Tucker starts to realize that Dale is just like he's just kind of like relaxing almost too much. He's like starting to just get louder and louder. The music gets louder and louder, starts playing music. And one of the friends invites another friend, and then Dale just like loses it. You know, he's more like, yeah, this is getting really fun. Let's just invite 5 more. He invites 5 more. Those people invite 5 more. All of a sudden, there is like 35, 40 people at Dale's house. It's getting too freaking wild. And the one thing you guys know is like parents and adults, especially when they have kids, they keep in contact. Parents will talk to each other. So Dale's a little... You know, he takes everyone out to the backyard. They set up the beanbag game out there. He has a trampoline as well. He's got a speaker out there. He's got a back porch with some lights, LEDs. I think there's a hot tub too. You know, it's just your typical back porch. They're having fun. Tucker, surprisingly, is the one that's getting worried. He's like, this is too loud. Like, dude, your neighbors are literally going to see you. Like, are you not scared that they're going to tell your family? And he's like, Dale is just not even worried anymore. He's just ignoring everything that Tucker says. And it takes a lot for Tucker to be the one to take responsibility, okay? It really is. It's a lot. So Tucker's kind of wanting everyone to start chilling out. At this point, it's like a little past 10 p.m. And the lights flicker on the back porch of the house next door. Sure enough, it's the neighbors, and they kind of, you know, they're kind of peeking in the backyard as much as they can, either through the fence or over the fence, or, you know, they're like standing at their back door. They can obviously hear everything. This music is so loud. There's kids everywhere just screaming and shouting and playing, doing whatever, okay? Tucker knew that the back porch and the backyard was going to be a bad idea, but Dale is just kind of, he just let go, you know? Well, here they go. And everything's getting loud. At this point, it's like 11:30, almost midnight. So probably 11:45-ish. And sure enough, you hear knock, knock, knock. And Dale goes to answer the front door. And it's the police. It's actually the police. He's like, hey, we got a noise complaint. It's after 11 p.m. Time to get some shut-eye, basically. And he's like, is the owners of the house home? And Dale is freaking out at this point. He's like regretting this entire get-together. And like everybody's sober, okay? You know, they're not doing any of that. Everyone's sober. They're not in legal trouble or anything like that. But Dale just gets really, really scared. And as a high schooler, you're like, you're kind of thinking, and especially as a good kid, I was a good kid in school, you know? So like I didn't do much to get in trouble. So if I ever saw cops, you know, you're just like straight scared. You're always afraid that they're just going to find something to get you in trouble. It's kind of like if you've ever been pulled over for a routine traffic stop, you still get really anxious. So Dale's super, super anxious. And there's just one officer. And Dale kind of starts freaking out a little bit, just kind of just stressing, you know. And he's just afraid that this cop is going to want to call his parents. And if they call his parents, he's screwed because he's got some really strict parents. Dale's parents are always strict. You kind of just can't slip up around them. If you say something wrong, you skip a chore on accident, you stay out past your curfew, you get everything taken away for like a week plus, or it's just really rough, okay? It's really rough at his house. So Dale's kind of letting loose. And when the cop comes and knocks at the door, it's just a little haywire. And so he's kind of melting down at this point at the front door. Dale's like, I'm really sorry. He's like, please just, he goes, we'll turn off the music. And I'll tell everyone to go home. You know, please just, everything's fine. There's nothing here. The cop enters the house. He's kind of looking around, making sure everyone's, you know, everyone's okay. He's kind of like, all right, you know, it's probably time for everyone to get going. You know, you've had 3 different neighbors. It was so loud and crazy out there. They had 3 different neighbors call on the house. And one of these neighbors is literally like, you know, parents talk. So Dale's just frightened. He hears that 3 of his neighbors called. He's like, they're going to tell my parents for sure. But right now, his major concern is that the cop is going to call his parents. So they're talking, you know, you have a couple friends like exiting the house, getting in their cars and leaving. And so now it's just Dale and Tucker. And they're kind of pleading their case with the officer. He's like, listen, you know, obviously we weren't doing anything bad. We were just really, really loud, but we were just kind of wanting to have a good time tonight. And so the officer's asking him questions like, yeah, I understand. But when you have 3 different neighbors call on your house, he goes, something's got to get done about it. And it's literally midnight now at this point. So he's like, where are your parents? Dale tells him they're out of town. He's like, listen, we're going to have to call your parents. I just got to tell them what's going on. You guys are minors. I just got to tell them what's going on. And you know, that's what police do. That's what adults do. Not necessarily ratting out kids. It's not like a hobby, but they're just trying to do the right thing and make sure parents are aware of his kids' actions. So Dale's just really, really worried. And so to try to sidestep the officer's questions, he starts asking him questions like, well, like, how old are you? When did you get into law enforcement and all this stuff? And so they're kind of just chit-chatting, kind of prolonging it, right? Dale asks the officer, what do you do for fun? He goes, well, when I'm not at work, I like to play a lot of video games and spend time with my family. Officer's probably upper 20s, low 30s maybe. And he goes, oh yeah, well, awesome. I love video games too. What kind of video games do you play? He goes, you probably won't know it. Dale goes, I don't know. Dale and Tucker both know their video games. Like, well, I don't know, sir. You could tell us. Like, we know a lot of video games. Well, he goes, well, I play on PC. What do you guys play? And they're both like, well, we have a console, but we mostly play our PC. Because we actually play a game called RuneScape. The officer's mouth, like, his jaw drops to the floor. He's like, wait, you guys play RuneScape? And they're like, yeah, actually, we both play RuneScape a lot. You know, we have like 1,500, 1,600 total membership on Old School RuneScape, all this good stuff. You know, he's telling them all the items they got, and he's like, why do you play? He goes, dude, I play, yeah. He goes, no freaking way, you guys actually play RuneScape. He goes, I feel like a lot of people don't I mean, RuneScape's got its own crowd, right? It's got its own niche. So finding people in public that actually consistently play RuneScape is harder than it sounds. There's people that have played it in the past or heard of it, but finding people that consistently play it, now that's kind of hard. So, yeah, the officer's really surprised that these two kids actually consistently play RuneScape. He goes, dude, well, log on. Let me see your account. Like, he's like, do you mind? No, Dale and Tucker go and log on to their accounts, and he's checking it out. He's like, dude, that's awesome. And he goes, add me in game. So he's like, here's my username. They type it in, and he goes, that's going to be really cool, man. I'll talk to you guys whenever I'm online. That's a lot of fun. And they kind of just build this little friendship with the officer, and he's like, all right, you guys are cool, just everyone went home, everything's chill now, y'all have a good night. He goes, maybe I'll talk to you on RuneScape sometime. And he's like, I ain't calling your parents, don't worry about it, man, I'll see you around. He leaves, and Dale and Tucker are like, no freaking way we found a police officer that plays RuneScape. And they were talking, I mean, this guy knew what he was talking about too. He was telling them all about Chambers of 𝗍愍, the raids, the nightmare boss, and he had just recently played one of the League's modes. And so they added him in game, and sure enough, a couple days later, they see him online and start chatting. Officer actually asks them, he asks Dale, it was either Dale or Tucker, one of them's online, because they both added him, right? He's like, hey, did your parents ever find out about your party? And Dale says, no, not yet, actually. And the officer just like types back. He's like, LOL, awesome, dude. And that's really that story. RuneScape saved these two kids from getting in trouble. And it's really, really cool. I mean, imagine that, man. You're in high school. You think you're going to get busted for having a high school party, and you just don't want your parents to find out. Like I said, it's not like you're doing anything too crazy. You're just really loud. It's almost midnight, having a bunch of friends over that you shouldn't have over, and you're terrified that your very strict parents, are going to find out about this party. And you meet an officer who was going to tell on you but doesn't tell on you because you bond over Old School RuneScape. How freaking cool is that story, you guys? I love it. If you guys made it this far in the video and in the story, make sure you type, I love story time. I want to see how many people make it this far in the video. So make sure you type that. This way I know if you actually did make it this far. Only people that make it this far will see this comment and leave this comment. And only people that made it this far will know what this comment means. Thank you guys, much love, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of RuneScape Storytime. Tell me your thoughts on it down below. I tried to make sure everything relates to RuneScape. These two got saved by RuneScape. I'll see you guys in the next one.